So I'll just very quickly, a couple of words about the peer space, and then to introduce Ewan. So the peer space is really a celebration of the human narrative. That's the idea. It's like all the different things that happen in our lives, and people coming and sharing their story or something around their passion or their expertise or like their vision for the world, if you like. And it started a few years back as a dinner group, and it's now effectively evolved into sort of like a mini virtual dinner group, kind of dinner club type thing. And it's a 60-minute session. We'll finish on the hour, but the next third, the middle third, is sort of Ewan's speaker slot, if you like. So a bit like a sort of intimate, interactive TED talk, because after the talk, it opens up to the rest of the room to just ask questions of Ewan, or for it to be like a discussion around the themes that have come up. That's about as much as I want to say about the peer space. So Ewan,
can I just interrupt? I've got a technical problem here. I'm going to drop off Zoom and re-enter.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll let you in. Leighton's fine.
Cheers.
So I met Ewan 5 or 6 years ago, and actually it was the beginning of a period where I'd done a lot of personal development in my life, and it was actually one of the things I really got from it. The work that I did in the course we met on was around how we do understand ourselves better, actually, in order to be able to communicate that to other people, and how powerful that can be in referrals and referral marketing. And we've sort of stayed in touch over the 5 or 6 years. And I personally find this territory fascinating and really important. And most of the work and jobs I've done for the second half of my working life, for sure, like into my 30s and 40s, is, I think, almost without exception, come through referrals, like everything. So I just think it's super, super important. Ewan's very, very immersed in this area. And so I'm actually really looking forward to hearing what he says, but I think it's such an interesting discussion point, debate area anyway, as a theme. And as someone said at the end of the last session, this stuff goes a bit like the stuff that we're probably going to come up and talk about how we kind of connect and stuff, and goes a bit beyond just referrals and business. It can be about how you build your communities, how you build your business teams and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to what he has to say. So without further ado, I will hand over to Ewan, and I'll watch out for Phil coming in. Ewan, over to you. Floor's yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks everybody for coming along. I was doing a presentation to a company called Sanlam Private Wealth, they're financial advisor group, and I was just talking about referrals, and one of the guys said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Yeah, of course you can." He said, "Why would anybody refer us if we don't pay them referral fees?" And to be fair, I was absolutely shocked that that's what his thinking was. I was really? Is that what you actually think? And he was like, "Yeah, we pay referral fees to people, and that's the only reason they want to refer us." I think referral fees are the last reason that you should actually refer somebody. So if, for example, I'm referring Alan and Alan's paying me a 30% commission, am I referring Alan for the 30% commission, and we're actually referring him to the right person? And the more I look into this, the more it's important that we know that we're referring the right person to the right person, but also what difference it's actually going to make if we get the referrals that we actually want. So there's two sides to this. There's one, if I refer you, what benefit do I get personally? And that's things like, one, it makes me feel good. If I refer some work to Sally, it turns into business, and she says, "Wow, that's been great. I love it. That's superb." That actually makes me feel good. It also actually strengthens my own relationship with my own client. So if I refer Sally, Sally does a good job for my client, they thank Sally, but they also thank me, which means they actually start to come to me for more things. They start to come to me, say, "You know, you referred Sally to me. Do you know somebody who does this? Because we need to recruit somebody." "Well, actually, I know Simon, and Simon's very good." So there's lots and lots of benefits to me referring people that have got nothing to do with money. But then again, why would you refer me? And I used to think that you're a solicitor, you're an accountant, you should meet because you both work in the same circles. And that's what a lot of my referrals were based on at the beginning. And then when I did Asentiv, it explained to me that referrals are a relationship exercise, not a transaction. So if I'm referring anybody to somebody, I'm giving my trust away. I'm letting them access to one of my clients. It might be one of my best clients, but it's a trust and relationship exercise. So when I talk to people about referrals and particularly their vision of what they're trying to achieve, they talk to me about things like, oh, well, we'll get more staff, we'll increase our turnover, we'll be able to get a bigger office, we'll be able to take on people to do this. And most of the time I'm listening to that and thinking, do you know what? I don't care. I'm not even interested in how many staff you've got or putting another desk in your office. So when we talk to people about referrals, I have what we call a power team around myself. These are all people who deal with the clients that I want, and they've all got them as clients. I know what everybody in my power team, I know why they want the referrals and what difference it's going to make to them. And that's the bit that is the bit that has the impact on people. If you get the referrals that you want, what difference is it actually going to make to you? So for me, 3.5 years ago, my best friend Billy died. Alan Wright might remember Billy Lee. He used to run the King's Arms, where we used to have a B&I group. And he was a little bit older than me, and his last year was horrible. In and out of hospital, he wasn't able to do any of the things that he thought he might do in his last year, 2 years that he was possibly given. And that made me start looking at my life and thinking, okay, so if you only had 1 year left to live, what would it be like? And it was getting up between 3 and 5 in the morning to go to networking events around the Northwest, doing a 40-hour week plus 20 hours in the car, tired at weekends, not able to stay up after 10:30 at night, playing golf, rubbish on a Saturday because I haven't got time to practice. I'm still playing rubbish golf, but I'm enjoying playing rubbish golf now. And it made me start thinking, you can't go on like this. So I actually put an idea in my head that within 2 years, 2.5 years, I'd like to be able to work 3 days a week. But I'd like 1 day a week that was my day, that I could do anything I wanted, whether it was play golf, whether it was just take the dogs out, whether it was just sit in the garden and read a book, but it's my day. And then I wanted a day that I would either do something to help her mum and dad. My wife's mum and dad are getting a bit old and need a lot more help, or working with a charity, helping a charity out, using my skills to, help them achieve what they wanted to achieve. And I told this to the people in my network. And you know what, funnily enough, some of them said, I'd like to help you get there. And I started getting more referrals. I started getting better quality referrals. So the question is, what difference would it make to you if you got the referrals that you want? And B, have you ever shared that with anybody? So let me give you some of the guys in my power team. So we have Michelle. Michelle works for a big law firm in Manchester. She's an employee. It's not even her business. So we said to her, what difference would it make to you if you get the referrals that you want? And she said, well, initially, none really. Okay. So we probed a bit more and said, so if you got more referrals, would you get a promotion? And she said, yeah, I suppose I would. Okay, what would you do with the money? And she said, I'd buy another property. Okay, still not interested in helping her. Why would I want to help somebody get another property? And then she said, I live in a nice flat in Manchester, but it's got the same cladding as Grenfell. So it's worth absolutely nothing. I pay my mortgage every month and I might as well just burn it because I can't sell my property until the government or somebody does something to get this cladding off the flat. All of a sudden, we all wanted to help her, because if she gets a pay rise, she can then possibly buy a house that she's actually paying a mortgage on, that is actually paying a mortgage off. And we wanted to help her. Another girl that we worked with, Stephanie, she said she does video production for corporate videos. What difference would it make to you if you get the referrals that you want? And she said, well, we could get a new green screen room, and we could get some more 4K cameras, and we could get a bigger office. And I said, excuse me, can I just stop you there? So one, I've got no idea what a 4K camera is anyway, so why would I want to help you get more of them? And what difference would it actually make to you? And she said, she thought for a while and said, well, I'm a full-time carer for my sister who's got learning difficulties and nighttime epilepsy. So when I'm not working, I'm constantly planning things for her, meals, activities. I don't sleep very well because I worry about what's happening to her in the night. So if I got more money, I could actually probably afford to put her in respite only for a week, because I wouldn't want her to be away. I wouldn't want to be away for longer than that. But I could put her in respite for a week. So what would you do with your week? Would you go on holiday? And she said, no, I just enjoy being in the house on my own. I've got a garden that's completely overgrown, and I take loads of pictures of the bugs and the insects in my garden. I was on the phone straight away, phoning the marketing agencies and consultants that I knew to say, you need to speak to Stephanie. When you hear her story, you will want to find her business. So, but we never talk about this stuff. We talk about what difference it'll make to our business if we get the referrals we want. We never talk about what difference will it make to us personally. So, you know, questions like, if you got the referrals that you wanted, you'd get more money, yes, but what would you do with the money? What impact would it have on your staff? So Ian Cromblehome, who's a financial advisor, I said, if you got the referrals that you want, what difference did it make to you? And he said, pretty much none. I'm fine. So what if your staff got the referrals that they wanted? What difference would it make to them? And he started thinking. Said, just say you've got 5 advisors and they all did their year's total in the first 5 months. What difference would it make to them? And he started thinking and said, well, 2 of them are teachers, their partners are teachers, so they could have the whole summer off. They could go and have 6 weeks off together. And they started to think, so what impact would it have on your staff? What impact would it have on your team? What impact would it have on your wife? Kevin, who's a business coach, once he worked it out, if he got the referrals that he wants, his wife was in a job that she didn't particularly like. She's doing an 80-mile round trip to work and back every day. She could drop 1 or 2 days a week and have more time with the grandkids. So
Is that Ewan that froze?
I'm okay, looks like it.
I think it's Ewan, yeah. This has never happened before.
Yeah, he froze.
So I'll
See
if we can get him back. Hi, Huck. We'll see if we can get him back. Maybe you can go without video. And Huck, would you like to introduce yourself for a minute?
Yeah, sure. First of all, sorry that I'm late. I was in another Zoom with a group. And also about transactions, actually. I'm a musician, healer, monk. Right now I'm working on a project, a humanitarian or charity project. Just had a post up on LinkedIn with looking for producers, and that's kind of went boom. So I've been spending my whole day on LinkedIn answering So I'm a bit, yeah.
Brilliant. And Hawk spoke on the peer space, I think the one before Jane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, about his heaters hub idea.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. How's everyone? While we're waiting for Ewan, I guess Ewan will try and come back on. How? What are everyone's thoughts about what he said so far? Anyone got any comments or thoughts about it?
He's absolutely bang on. He takes, having known him a long time and watched him speak many times and listened to him on a one-to-one basis over 15 years on and off, he takes the understanding of the referral process to the next level long before he started doing Asentiv and long before he got deeper into it in the last few years. I remember a conference we were at in 2008, I think it was, when he spoke, and he produced a list of questions that you can ask in a one-to-one situation, which gives you all the information that you need in a, if you like, a transactional one-to-one, so referral generation one-to-one, of brackets standard version. And some of them you're thinking, why hasn't anybody else thought of this before? Yeah. Basic stuff about, who's your best customer, so the level that they pitch at and all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit of a cheat for me because I was with him on Friday and I've heard some of this before in a short conversation. But yeah, he's I'm not blowing smoke particularly, but he's worth hanging on every word of.
I agree, and I'll just explain the context of how I met him. He was working for the company that was involved in the training I was on relating to referral marketing, referral networking, and but he wasn't actually leading it. But he's the guy I stayed in touch with, and he remembers still now the work that we did around what's called emotional charge connection, which he may come onto.
Yeah,
which is about, because the stuff he's talking about at the moment is almost about the passion, the thing you want to be able to do if you're able, if you were able to have the free time.
Yeah.
And linked to that is the stuff that's driving you. The stuff that you go. So there's some exercises you do in that training. It's about going deeper into what's driving you in life, and even going back to childhood things, and that stuff when you share it around in your power team or your referral group is pretty powerful and actually quite emotional when you get into it. And that's what we were all doing. We were all having our little moments with a little tear in our eyes as we went through some of these processes. So very, very powerful. And it actually, for me, I said it's one of the first experiences in this sort of personal development world that I found very powerful. So yeah,
excellent.
I don't know if anyone else has got any other experiences.
I've got to be honest. I'm going to present a slightly different viewpoint. I disagree.
Okay.
It doesn't sit. This sort of thing doesn't sit well with me in the slightest. And quite frankly, knowing human nature like I do, I don't think that it's sustainable. Would be my feeling. I mean, I know Ewan, he's a really good guy, and so this is nothing personal. That's just my point of view.
Well, it's definitely good to have different opinions about it. So I think we got Ewan back.
Oh yeah, I missed that bit. Sorry, broadband just dropped out.
Yeah, we just filled in the time a little bit. Just talked a little bit about how we know you, and Alan and I, and just beginning of a little debate. But
yeah, so anyway, he seems crap, but he's all right, really.
I was just saying, Ewan. Yeah.
As we were saying.
We were just talking about you behind your back.
Well, that's okay. So the thing. So what difference will it actually make to you if you get the referrals that you want? So Simon, if you get the referrals that you want, what actual impact will it actually have if you can consistently bring the clients on board that you want?
I think that I think the difference it would make to me would be completely personal. It would affect me and my family. I think that it would help me reach my personal goals quicker. I guess my question would be, Ewan, is anybody going to be interested in my goals for me and my family? That would be my question, because from a personal point of view, I see it that it's really very much up to me to deliver the things that I need to deliver. So, the referrals, I get it, and going out and getting those referrals are very important to me. And I'm very thankful for the people that have referred me on LinkedIn and, what have you. I mean, certainly, I know you were saying about not paying for referrals. with the investment company Sanlam that you mentioned, I mean, you know,
I'm not saying you shouldn't offer referral fees at all.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not saying that whatsoever. If you offer referral fees, that's fine. But if somebody's more invested in helping you on a personal level, you can still pay them the referral fees if you want to, but they're going to help you because they want to help you. I'm not saying don't pay referral fees at all.
Sorry. Hey, do you know what? My misunderstanding. If anything, I think when people help me on a personal level, I'll tell you what it does to me. It makes me want to help them twice as much.
Exactly.
Sorry, guys. Let me just get my coat.
No. I wasn't saying don't pay.
Sorry, I misunderstood. It was my misunderstanding.
No. Because if that's how you do business, that's how you do business. But if you can find somebody who wants to do it because they want to help you get where you want, then if somebody comes and offers them a higher referral fee, they'll stay with you.
Yeah, that is a good point. That is a point.
So if Alan pays me £300-400 for a referral, and all it is a transaction, and you offer me 500 quid, then I'll come and work with you. If I'm invested in helping Alan get where he wants to go, it doesn't, to a certain extent, and it doesn't matter what you offer me, I'm still invested in Alan. So the referral fees actually become irrelevant anyway.
Yeah.
If that did that clear that up, even though I wasn't.
No,
here.
I understand. No, actually, I understand.
So I wasn't saying don't pay referral fees at all, because that's how business is done in a lot of cases. But if you can find a small group of people who are invested in helping you get where you want to go, if somebody comes and offers them a bigger referral fee, they'll still stay with you.
Yeah.
Because financial services and recruitment and I mean the whole referral system's based on referral fees, and it would be silly to try and stop that.
Can I ask a sort of question that's do you mind if I ask a question that's a bit sort of two parts to it in a way? One is like, why is it so powerful? Like, why is it so powerful when you get more, it gets more personal and it's more about, I love, my passion is X. So if you know that my passion is X and I can spend more time sailing, wherever it is, that will, that turns on the referrer. And the second part of that is there's a bit of a barrier in my mind, because actually it's quite difficult to get into those conversations with most people, like in business, like in most business situations. So I'm not trying to think how you can break that down a bit, so it's not
yeah, okay. So first of all, I was playing golf with Glenn today, and I know Glenn well. So I just asked him, if you get more business, what difference is it going to make to you? He's got a young family. He's been divorced. If he gets more referrals, his business is very up and down on a cash flow basis. So it'll just mean that he'll have more consistent money coming in. So he won't be living a sort of feast and famine lifestyle, which is, if you're a single guy, doesn't make much difference. But if you've got a family and dependents, then it makes quite a big difference.
Yeah.
And I actually would like him to get there. But we brought that up in a game of golf with somebody that I know. I'm not going to tell them about somebody I don't really know about Billy unless it's in a presentation like this. I'm not going to sit next to somebody on a train and say, just let me tell you about my mate who died 3 years ago. I haven't got a T-shirt that says "Help me." I share it with people who when we're talking about Asentiv, when I share it with people that I think would like to help me get where I want to go. But we, as a power team, when you invest a lot of time with people, so my power team, we meet every 2 weeks. You're all very welcome to come and see how that works. We meet every 2 weeks for an hour virtually, and all we do is train each other how to find referrals for each other. But the first part of the meeting every time is tell me what you've done that's fun in the last 2 weeks. So it's finding out what type of restaurants they like to go to, finding out what sporting activities they like to do, what they like to do with their family. We finished the training bit that I wanted to do with them a bit early, and we said, right, okay, you've got 2 weeks, you can go on holiday with anybody you want, anywhere you want. Where would you go? And quite a lot of the lads wanted to go on sporting tours with their mates, which was okay, wasn't automatically what I expected. I would like to take my beautiful wife away for our anniversary. It was, I want to go and see the Lions tour in Australia with my mates. But it told me more about them, and a lot of networking stuff. We never get into the personal stuff. We, you know, if you think about how many people in your network know your partner's name,
yeah,
how many kids you've got, what do you like to do outside work? We don't do that. And if we don't do that, we can't actually get to know somebody at the right level. Alan and I were talking about this on Friday with a guy called Trevor, and it completely changed his thinking about building another network. But if we don't put the personal stuff in, we will never get to a relationship-based referral system rather than just a transactional-based referral system.
Yeah. I want to open it up. I think it's 50 minutes to go or so. So get other people's views. I just put my stamp of approval on it because, as I said, my experience is that if not every single piece of work and job that I've had for 15 years has been like through referrals. I'm still trying to understand why it's so powerful, why it works like nothing else. But
well, I remember when Niall told his story about why he wanted more referrals 5.5 years ago, and I still use that in my training now, and it still makes people want to find Niall work now. I just tell his story. It's up to Niall to tell his story to you, but I tell that story and people want to find him work, and they've never even met him.
Yeah, it is powerful. It really is powerful.
I think a lot of it, it's a bit, sorry, there's a basic human emotion in there. I think in some cases it's difficult to put it down to any more than that. The natural desire to, if someone wants help, you want to help people. I think it's a very base emotion in many cases.
I do enjoy helping people without a shadow of a doubt, but I'm going to be honest, I do it for my own reasons, you know, with the people that, you know, that I get along with. One of the dangers, I think, of becoming, you know, too friendly with your partners, because I mean, I get it about, you know, forming deeper relationships and what have you. Oh God. Do you know what? I mean, I've made today, I've had a nightmare. I've spoken with a guy who I haven't spoken with for the last couple of years because I helped him. I tried to do something that I thought was going to help him, and I made a recommendation about someone that I knew to go and work for him as like a sort of administrator kind of person. The whole thing backfires horribly. And, you know, up until today, I mean, I lost a mate that I've known for like 30 years, you know, because of this one silly thing that had happened. Basically, the person come in, he's claiming that she's lost them thousands of pounds. And, you know, he sort of blamed me. And I said, well, sorry, mate, it's your company. You know, you need to keep an eye on this. You know, hey, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, that sort of thing can happen when the trust levels, even if it's a mate, business trust is different than mate trust.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And an example of that is one of my mates said, he's a lift engineer, and he said, we've got an office down in London. They're a bit quiet at the moment. Do you know any facilities managers down in London? I said, yeah. He said, can you introduce them to the company? And I said, who's going to see them? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, are you going to see them? He said, no, it'll be somebody from the London office who's going to see them. And I said, no.
Yeah.
I'm not prepared to share them with you.
Yeah.
He said, what do you mean? Well, you know what we do. I said, I know what you do. I don't know how they do what they do. I don't know how they're going to present themselves to my facilities managers that I know down there. This is a mate who I've known for 15 years. And I said, no, I'm not prepared to do that. And he actually got quite annoyed with me. And then after about 3 weeks or so, he came back and he said, I thought about what you said, and I perfectly understand it now. I didn't understand it when we were talking about it, but I understand it now. So mate relationships and business relationships aren't the same. And quite often trouble occurs is when they overlap.
When you mix them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I
but you're still trying to help a mate.
Ewan, I'm just conscious of time because I'd really love to bring other people in. So just, I'm sort of thinking about that point and the general point about relational versus transactional referrals. That was the sort of theme of the session. Who else would like to come in on this topic, like with other thoughts on it? I feel strongly about it personally, but Phil.
Okay, so I've built several businesses over the years, long before the internet came on the scene. And what I found is that business is built on trust, but to get to trust, you first of all have to get to know someone. You can't just trust someone out of the blue. So in every case, I found that I got to know people. I learned very early on in my 20s when I first started on this road, not to do any business with people that I didn't like. So you have to first get to know people. It's just my personal experience. Get to know people. If you like them, you get to know them more until you get to a point where you trust them or not. And I think there's either trust or no trust. I think it's black and white. You either trust somebody or you don't. And when trust is gone, it's gone. But once trust is there, you can then start to do business if it seems to be the thing to do. So you're kind of working in parallel with each other or as personalities. And then if there's some business to be had, then you can go ahead with it.
Yeah. But
even then, I learnt an old Arabic saying, which was trust in Allah, but always tether your camel. So even when there's trust there, and you've known somebody a long time, you still need some sort of contract, if you like.
Yeah.
Even if it's a verbal contract, you need an agreement, even if it's just heads of agreement, so that you know where you stand. But that's my input anyway.
Great.
There's great.
If I may add, I much rather trust the handshake of somebody that I meet who truly connects than a contract, because contracts can be challenged in court and whatever. And if I really meet someone and know that,
to me, the handshake is a contract.
Yeah, good point. that was where I was coming at, because that's a Norwegian saying actually. If you don't remember what it's phrased like in English, but it's very true.
Can you say it in Norwegian?
Du kan stole på. Nei, hvordan det nå?
That's what I thought it was.
We can translate it later.
I can't remember it. My mind is fried.
But if the other thing about the personal stuff is, if you've got a relationship with somebody and you want to thank them for doing something for you, you can thank them with something that you know that they're going to like. So my mate Pete, for example, Pete puts all he's an insurance broker. He puts all his sales team through Asentiv. So I bought Pete. I thought I could buy Pete some wine, but I'm not. I know he likes wine, and I've seen him drink red, and I've seen him drink white, but I can't remember the name of the type of wine that it was. And there's no guarantee that he'll actually be there when the wine's open, because his wife might open it, or they might take it round to somebody's house when they open the wine. So I invested a whole £8 in a West Ham mug, because I know he's a West Ham fan. I just sent it through Amazon. But every time he has a cup of tea or coffee in the office, he thinks of me.
Yeah.
And I can do that because I know him personally.
Mm.
If I don't know him personally, I can't thank him how he wants to be thanked.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I can't send something that he might be interested in because I don't know what he's interested in.
Yeah, yeah. 100%.
So it has lots of different levels of knowing things on a personal level. One of the guy, and you remember Andrew Dobbin, Alan?
Yeah.
BNI HQ sent him a gift for buying the region, and they sent him 2 bottles of wine. Andrew doesn't drink. He's never drunk. It's not like he's just suddenly stopped.
That says it all. That says it all, doesn't it?
But they've not thought about anything. They just saw a couple of bottles of wine in the post in a nice box, and he's gone, oh great. So he's actually done more damage than good.
Yeah, totally.
Because it actually said, you don't know me at all. So even if it's if I sent Alan a football card with blue footballers on it instead of red footballers on it, he wouldn't be very pleased with me. It can be as simple as that.
I'll always take 2 bottles of wine, by the way. But,
I have my own approach to that.
Do you want to swap him for the blue card he sent me?
Yeah.
But
I have my own approach about that. I like to create songs. If I'm in the hotel, for instance, and I get really good service, then I make a song and I give it, since I often make electronica, it's sometimes difficult to find a title, but then I use the name of the person behind the counter or behind the bar or whatever. And that is kind of, I've also given as birthday gifts to my kids and Christmas gifts, because songs stay.
It's a nice thing to do. But if you can make that personal.
Yeah.
And if you don't know somebody personally properly, you can't thank them in a way that they would like.
Sure.
So
just down to the last 2 or 3 minutes. Anyone else got a view on this, like a perspective on it, on the referral concept generally, or whether this stuff, how this stuff works in their world? Just because
I think for me, and I go to networking meetings, and I know there are people here who are past and present BNI members, for example. I think there's a huge difference between referring somebody because they go to the same group as you, and referring somebody because, as Phil says, you've taken them that time to get to know them, to understand them, and to make sure that the referral is relevant and you're referring somebody for the right reasons because they're a good fit. And I think that's the absolute heart of it, is finding that good fit and making sure that referral makes sense.
Yeah. I think a very sad thing is that a number of people, or a lot of people in the past, have joined things like BNI thinking that's a golden ticket to business. That's a golden ticket to refer business. I paid me money, where's my business? And that's basically just the start. That's like passing your driving test as the start of your driving career. But some people think it's the be all and end all, that they've paid BNI money or other organizations. It's like, nah, absolutely not.
I mean, in fairness, though, BNI do enforce networking. I've been to clubs where, it strikes me that people are pressed into doing business with the people that, are sitting in that room.
We did a thing. These are part of, I'm still a member of BNI, and some of the guys said, we want to raise this to the next level. We'll bring our top 10 client list to lunch. So we all went to lunch. And they said, have you got your top 10 client list? And I said, no. And he said, why not? I said, well, you don't know me well enough to refer me. And he said, but we've known each other for 2 years. I said, what do I like to do as a hobby? And they went, golf. Yeah, brill. What do I like to drink? And they went, vodka. I said, right, okay. Where do I like to go on holiday? Silence. What's my favorite movie? Silence. And we spent an hour and a half just going around everybody saying, what's your favorite things? What's your hobbies? What's your movies? Where would you go on holiday if you could go anywhere in the world? Just answering personal questions for an hour and a half. And they said we learned more about referrals in that hour and a half without actually talking about business at all.
My question would be then, so what if you still don't get on at the end of that hour and a half?
I don't refer them.
It's fair play. Yeah, that's fair.
I only refer people to the right people.
That's yeah. Makes
sense.
I agree.
So I had a friend who'd got £70,000 to invest. My first choice referral for investments is James. Didn't give it to James because he wasn't big enough, because he wouldn't want it.
You knew it wasn't right for him. Yeah,
it wasn't right for him, so I gave it to somebody else.
It feels a bit like it's a bit like doing referrals like the serious way as opposed to the sloppy way, right? The sloppy way would be, I know that guy over there. versus, yeah, it's more like a sniper type way. Ewan, I'm conscious of time. We're sort of wrapping up around the hour. Do you have a sort of final thought or message for everyone? Like, how do we?
Just let me tell you how I introduced James before we even get to business. So James is a financial advisor, and I go, I did this in the pub. Somebody was talking about financial stuff, and I just closed my eyes and did this. And Brian came up to me and said, "Why were you shaking your head?" I said, "Why are you taking financial advisors off the guys in the pub?" And he said, "Do you know somebody?" I said, "Yeah, before we talk about business, let me tell you about James. James, family focused, really family focused. He's got 2 lovely daughters. He loves being able to take them to school and pick them up a couple of days a week during during school term. He's got a place in Spain, so he spends as much possible time with them in the summer before they get to the stage where they don't want to go on holiday with him and his wife anymore. He's a single figure golfer. He plays golf with his dad whenever he possibly can. He's a Liverpool fan. He's a season ticket holder, and he goes again whenever he can. He loves a night out. He's an absolute blast on a night out. And one of his favorite things he likes to do is go to races. He's quite a big bloke, so if he's got a dark suit on, when he comes up your drive, he looks like a bailiff. Would you like me to get, and then I'll talk about the business side. But the first part of the introduction is all about James. It's nothing to do with work.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important. Every time I do that, people go, "Yeah, can you get James to give me a ring?"
Yeah, totally makes sense. Okay, guys. Yeah.
You say something. So
yeah, go for it.
There's somebody I know in South Africa who's been involved in BNI for many, many years, and he's just won an award, a BNI award. I can't remember what it's for, but it's to do with
Givers Gain.
Givers Gain. That's it.
That's
well
the
done,
famous
Jay.
thing, yeah.
Now, I've only really just met you, Ewan, but I've known him a long time, and I think he'd be interested in meeting or hooking up with you.
Yeah, I'd love to have a chat with him.
So
if he likes me, great, and I like him, great. If nothing, but I'll meet somebody new.
Is that Colin Horner, is it?
Before
Colin Horner.
Yeah, I know of him. He's actually from Liverpool as well.
That's right.
Yes, he is, yeah.
Guys, I'm just conscious of the time, because before we go into the individual one-to-one type things, and people often want to leave on the hour, and so I just really want to wrap up and say thanks very much to you, and obviously continue dialogues. Copy the chat, because I don't send it anywhere. If you just want to copy the chat, people put their links in there. If you just put your link in there now very quickly, thanks very much, Ewan.
Great,
that was brilliant. Yeah, sorry, applause. Brilliant stuff. I personally think if the world had more referrals going on, it'd be a much better place than in the way that Ewan kind of outlines it, with that more sort of deeper way of doing it. The world would be a better place for sure. Our next talk is in 2 weeks, same time. So I got speakers lined up till October now, I think. So in 2 weeks, it's Edwin K. Morris. Some of you might have met him. I think it's our first speaker from the States. That's not true. It's the first speaker in this sort of latest series since the spring. And he is an expert on knowledge management. So his theme will be around that. He's got a national organization that's working in that space. So that's on the 25th of August at 6 p.m. UK time. Otherwise, thank you very much, everyone, for coming along. Copy the chat if you want to save the notes, and hope to see you again in a couple of weeks. Everything we do really is on the LinkedIn page, which you can get from the peerspace.com website.
Cool.
See you next time, guys. Thanks, Ewan.
Cheers. Bye.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Thanks, everyone.